I'm not really good at horror games. I really do not like playing horror games for the most part. I think horror as a avenue is really good when you're a passive observer. When you're in the game where you have to interact with the environment around you. Not my forte per se. And I wanted to play Resident Evil 7 a long time ago. I did play it, and I just really couldn't get into it because I was too scared. There was a lot going on, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. But after playing 2, 3, and 4, I still had the itch to scratch for Resident Evil, so I went with the newer games with Resident Evil 7 and 8. And Resident Evil 7 is so good. It is so fucking good. Resident Evil has always been horror, and then it kind of like devolved into its action parody of itself. And I think that's just best seen when you go from like Mr. X, who is horrifying in Resident Evil 2, to like Resident Evil 4, where it's very action heavy. Don't get me wrong, I love that game. It's my favorite game of the franchise, but you can see what I'm talking about, where we devolve somewhere into parody of the horror genre. That being said, Resident Evil 7 wanted to reestablish itself as a horror franchise, but also had to hit the right balance between horror and the action that we're so used to keep fans involved, from fans who might have come into the franchise with 4, 5, and 6. And it's a really difficult balance to do, and I think they kind of nail it for the most part. The early game of 7 is horrifying. I think it's absolutely fucking terrifying, especially with Jack Baker following you around the house for the most part. It is a tense experience. It simply has your asshole puckered the whole time, and I simply enjoy it for that fact. We get to this point eventually in the game where you become more of an action hero, and I think at some point that kind of happens with any horror franchise. At some point you have to go into the action just to kind of up the ante of everything, and I think they do a nice progression in the game, while keeping your supplies low, space out your supplies, as well as still be this kick-ass action hero. They do it perfectly in this game, and I think it's really well done. I think it's awesome. And again, they still balance it pretty well with Evelyn at the end of the game. In the boat section, the machine gun isn't just like an instant win. They restrict your supplies to make sure that you aren't this like badass hero the whole time around. But Resident Evil 7, his story is fairly simple when it comes to everything. It's a husband looking for his wife, and it's pretty basic, but I still love the story and what they tell in here. And Ethan, throughout the story, is pretty basic, but for some reason he's super lovable. I know a lot of people didn't really like Ethan right away, and then eventually you grew to love him. But I liked Ethan off rep. I think he was a likable character with noble goals, and I mean he does chicken out like after the first like 20 minutes of Resident Evil 7, but like who wouldn't? But eventually he comes around to actually like trying to save her, and I think it's a super well done story of family, love, grief, pain. It's a wonderful story that's been told, and honestly, I thought 7 would be the weaker of the two when I went into it, but I came out of 7 thinking, wow, this is really strong. I really hope 8 is as good. But 7 is fantastic, and I think it's even better with the story of the Bakers itself. Like, it's told to us at the end of the game, but if you read the notes and everything like that, you can see that the Bakers are simply just victims of circumstance. They don't mean to be these people who we encounter throughout the game, but they just end up being the victim of Evelyn. I think Evelyn is a really cool character. Do I understand the mold? Not necessarily, but I do like Evelyn and her impact and her motivations of wanting to create this family, to build around her as this child. I really like Evelyn as a character. Super dope. I don't know. The interactions with Evelyn and Ethan are fantastic, and I honestly felt her as more of a threat than most Resident Evil villains. Like, I'm trying to think of the only ones I would probably think of like that'd be more intimidating. Maybe Sadler, Wesker, that it. But Evelyn, I think it's actually an intimidating force, even in a little girl's body. I think is super hard to do. I know the creepy kid thing is really like worn out, but I think they did it really, really well in this game of balancing the creepy kid thing, but also making her intimidating to a fact that's not just because she's creepy. And Resident Evil 7 nailed it. I actually want to go replay it just because I chose the Mia option at that fork in the road. I want to see what happens when you pick Zoe. I haven't played that section yet. I know I'm doing a review on Resident Evil 7. I didn't play the whole game. I simply just don't have the time to go back to play right now. I have other games I need to play. But having that little bit of relay factor really makes a big difference. And also, on top of that, it's just a super well. It's a very nice gameplay loop with great villains and great character design. That, again, like I said before, it balances the horrors and action properly, where it doesn't like feed into itself, into its parody of the action. It makes it so it is fun to play, but at the same time challenging to stay alive. And when you have characters like Jack Baker, who's absolutely fucking terrifying, or the mother who turns into a fucking spider, it's awesome. The brother, son, whatever, I don't care for. I think he's kind of just a jackass, and I don't care for him. I don't like him at all. But yeah, Resident Evil 7 is amazing. I think it's one of the best of the franchise. Personally, I'd probably rank it under 3. I know a lot of people don't like 3, but 3 is probably my second favorite, just because of horror and hype moments. I'll be real. But yeah, I think when it started that, I'd probably replay 3 before I replayed 7. But honestly, it's fucking fantastic. It's absolutely one of the best games of the franchise. Resident Evil 8 was actually what I was looking most forward to. And I'll be honest, it's because of my sympathy for Lady D and the Duchescu sisters. Honestly, I'll be real. That's the whole point I really want to play 8 for. I was kind of wanting to skip 7, but I was like, I have to play 7, so I understand 8 for the most part. Resident Evil 8, it is so weird to go from after coming from 7, just because 7 is so horror oriented with a little bit of action mixed in there, that 8 feels weird because it's more action heavy with a little bit of horror. It feels weird. I don't know if I like it or not for that reason. And there's cool aspects of this game. There's a lot of cool aspects. I think the Lady D's castle is an awesome setting. I love the setting of Lady D's castle being a whole thing. Even though it's only one section of this game, it's really well done, really well thought out. It's like a maze that is easy to navigate if you know what the hell you're doing, but hard to keep navigating when you're being chased. So when like Lady D shows up, or when the sisters show up, it's a lot harder to navigate the house, and I think it's a really it's really good level design. I really love it. But that being only one section of the game, being really memorable, being really great, is awesome. And then you have the rest of the game, especially the 2 sections right after Lady D, being the puppet and the fish dude. It really falls off a cliff. It's like this really big dip. And I know a lot of games have this dip of like where you don't want to play that section again. I don't know why every game does it, but there's always this little dip of like, this isn't where I want to be. In my mind, that's Kumura's castle in Persona 5. I know a lot of people think the Mary Jane missions are like that. I think the Mary Jane missions are fine. But there's always that dip in like quality of like level build. And the puppet is better, just because that baby section is still fun. It's not scary in the way that I'm scared of like Nemesis or Mr. X or even Lady D to a certain point, where the babies chase you as being a stalker essentially. But it's not scary as I think I'm gonna die. More like I'm just grossed out, and I think it does its job really well. I just don't think it's not as good a level design as something like Lady D's Castle or RPD, and it really falls apart right after Lady D's Castle. You just saw how good the level design can get. So it takes a step down. I think it's a really good section. I just don't really like it that much. The fish dude section falls off a cliff for me. It's super action orientated. It is gross. It's not fun. It's more of a nuisance at that point in time. I know they tell a story with it, but like it seems just like a hurdle rather than actual fun. And that's really, this game really hit the big dip for me, and I think that's what ruined my experience. Is that like after Lady D's Castle, the game goes by really fast. It has that Resident Evil like speed to it, whereas you play the game basically for 5-6 hours. That's the goal, and I don't know. The fish guy getting over quickly, but doesn't feel quick, and that's I think that's poor gameplay design, poor level design, and all. But then we get to Heisenberg, and it gets really good. Heisenberg is a fantastic character, probably the best in the game. We're just saying something because I came for this game for Lady D. Yeah, but Heisenberg is amazing. I like his character. His character has good motivations. He's charismatic. He's fun to interact with. I like Heisenberg as a character where I'm still a little like, maybe I should just let him take over. Like, there's a point in time in the game where I'm just like, I'm kind of rooting for Heisenberg at the same time as I need to kill him. Like, I know we need to kill him, but I want to root for him, and his goals are noble at the same time as misguided. And I think that's what makes a good villain, especially in Resident Evil, when they are good at heart, but have the wrong way. And then we get to Mother Miranda. And Mother Miranda is the puppet master of the four families, and I don't feel like she is. I honestly, and I think they characterize it even in the game a little bit, that the four houses are just basically Mother Miranda's children who run around and cause issues. And that doesn't make me feel like Mother Miranda has a good hold on things. Like, she's supposed to be like this overpowered deity, essentially, that has like immense control over things and is like the puppet master of this whole story, and I don't feel it because it's not done well. It's not told to, it's not like given to us that she has a hold on Lady D or the puppet or the fish guy. I know Heisenberg is the odd man out, and that's a good experience to have in the story where he's trying to kill Mother Miranda in the first place. I think it's an awesome aspect to it, but it doesn't hit as hard when it doesn't feel like Mother Miranda has a hold on the other three as well. I think they're just kind of left rampant, and honestly, Mother Miranda is a weaker villain in comparison to like Heisenberg, who we just had, or like Evelyn from the previous game. It's just not. I know that she kills Ethan, spoiler, but like, simply, I just don't care for her. I want that boss battle to be over, more than anything, just to get done with the game, because I just was sick of her, because she wasn't a villain. She felt like filler. She felt like you had to have an end boss that wasn't Heisenberg. I don't know. I don't like her as a villain. I spent the last day thinking about this game, trying to be like, so I finished it yesterday. I was like, how do I actually feel about this game? And honestly, the game's good. Don't get me wrong. It's a really good game. I don't feel like how I felt like in 7. I don't feel like how I felt in 4 or 3 or 2. It just kind of falls apart under its own like weight, in a way, where it has good design, and then it will turn around and give us some really poor design and lean more into the action rather than the horror aspects of things. But 7 did really good horror, and you can do really good horror in this section with a Eastern European village with lichens and vampires. It's such a cool idea. I can get this gothic horror vibe, and they just don't feed into it. It's a nice atmosphere, but they don't do anything with it. It falls apart under its own weight, and I like 8. Don't get me wrong, I do. I just don't like it as much as the other games, and it really falls apart for me. But yeah, I'm really excited to see where these games connect to in the future, though. Resident Evil 9 is coming out next year in February. Very excited for it. My only question is, how is 7 and 8 going to connect? Because it's the next one's 9, so it's a numerical order. It has to connect in some way. I hope we either see Rose, because she's teased at this as this ultra powerful creature, essentially, and I love that idea. That end credit scene gave me a lot of hope for where they can go with the Winters story. I know that this duality is done, but it's just the father's story. Ethan's story is done. Doesn't mean Rose's story is done. So if she shows up in 9, I'd be super excited. If she shows up in 10, if they make that, I'd be super excited. I just want to see where they connect this, because it's these games are semi-connected to the original story of Resident Evil with Chris, but like there's not much of a link there besides some Umbrella hints in the 7th game and also in the 8th game, which I'm super excited to get more Umbrella lore. I really love Umbrella as a villain. If they come back, awesome. Love that idea. Which I'm not for bringing back the villain from the dead, but I think Umbrella works in that way. But like, I would love to see where it actually connects. Where's the hinge point between these two parts of the franchise? because 7 and 8 are very, very, if they don't connect, they feel like spin-offs, but they also are mainline title games. So I'm super excited to see what they do with the winter stories that can connect to the original Raccoon stories. I'm just super excited to see where they go from here, because as much as 8 kind of left a sour taste in my mouth after coming off of 7, I like the story, I like the characters, I like what they had for this duology. Even I like Mia a lot with the limited screen time she has. I really did like Mia. But I want to see where they can go with it. I want to see what they do with it. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I just don't know how to do it. But let me know what you guys thought about Resident Evil 7 or 8. Are you in the same train with me where 8's just kind of like a really big step down? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like, subscribe, do whatever. And until next time, bye-bye.